Rhea Ripley haters are not going to like this. They're immediately going to go to social media and be outraged because in this video, I'm going to tell you something that's going to upset them and why Rhea Ripley fans are going to love this. I'm telling y'all, when I saw this, I knew I had to make a video for you guys and talk about it because whether you like her or you don't, you love her or you hate her, Rhea Ripley gets a reaction out of people. Me, big fan of Rhea Ripley. I believe in her. I've believed in her since I've seen her down in NXT UK many years ago. Completely different look, completely different gimmick. We'll get into that more in a minute. But Rhea Ripley, she showed her toughness here recently, suffering a broken orbital bone. You know that had to suck. And now she's back on television with a mask on, looking like a female version of just, I don't know, mankind maybe. But she's doing the dang thing, and it's very impressive. She is back because she needed to be back for the women's War Dance match at Survivor Series. Teaming up with the likes of Bianca Belair, was going to be Jade Cargill, but she got injured, and a few others to take on the likes of Liv Morgan, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Raquel Rodriguez. You know the drill. Like, it's pretty impressive. But 2024 has been great for Rhea Ripley. I'll explain more on that in a minute as to why it's been great. Because Rhea Ripley has been able to transform herself from a heel who was super duper over, who had a ton of heat, to one of their biggest baby faces. And this has backed up that narrative. It has backed up the fact that Rhea Ripley is not only just one of WWE's biggest stars in its women's division, but in the entire company. And they rely on her to build interest, draw ratings, sell merch, and sell tickets. She does all of that because she's Rhea freaking Ripley. And this stat backs it up. So WWE has released its 2024 top merchandise sellers. And Rhea Ripley's on that list. She was on that list last year as well. Now, she has been named among the top 10 merchandise sellers. Now, Cody Rhodes, our undisputed WWE champion, he takes the top spot at number 1. Roman Reigns, number 2. CM Punk, number 3. Jey Uso, number 4. John Cena, number 5. Liv Morgan's at number 6. And Rhea Ripley is at number 7. She beat out LA Knight, Randy Orton, Damian Priest. LA Knight's the U.S. champion right now. Randy Orton, Damian Priest, former world champions. Randy Orton, bona fide Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever do it. And Rhea Ripley outsold him in merch. And did so while he was a babyface. Think about that. The Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley was a part of that. Damian Priest, he was once a part of that. In fact, Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, they're both babyfaces right now. Just a few months ago, they actually teamed up at Bash in Berlin. They worked the tag team match. They went over Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio, so he's a babyface. That's a notable thing when you outsell babyfaces compared to heels. Babyfaces tend to sell more merch, right? Unless you're Roman Reigns back in the day. That's massive. That's massive. To break into the top 10, and she did so with Liv Morgan. So why has 2024 been good to her? Well, that ties into it because Liv Morgan is a major contributor. Look, Rhea Ripley was a heel going into 2024. They booked her into a title program with Nia Jax. They headlined the Elimination Chamber PLE in Australia. Rhea Ripley main evented in her home country. That was major. It was massive. And so, because you're feuding with Nia freaking Jax, yeah, people are going to root for you. And so she naturally got turned into a babyface. She went into a heck of a feud with Becky Lynch going into WrestleMania 40. And surprise, surprise, she retained the Women's World Championship. Something which I didn't even think was going to happen, but she did it. Congrats. Now, coming out of Mania, she was about to feud with Liv Morgan. We all know what happened. She suffered a shoulder injury. She was sidelined. And she had to go away for a while. So they had to crown a new Women's World Champion. They ultimately got Becky Lynch to do that before getting Liv Morgan in that role. Very impressive. So she comes back, and they light the world on fire. While Rhea was away, Liv Morgan was opening, closing, and doing multiple segments on Monday Night Raw in one of the top programs. Her and Liv was the program right alongside CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. It was very impressive what they were able to do, what they were able to accomplish together. Hats off to them. And so when Rhea comes back and they work SummerSlam, it only intensifies things. And the fact that dirty, dominant Mysterio, one of the most hated guys in all of pro wrestling, especially WWE, he turns his back on Rhea. He aligns with Liv Morgan and he costs Rhea the championship. Oh, yeah. That's going to anger some folks. And that's exactly what happened. So you do the mixed tag team match and then Bad Blood. Obviously, Raquel Rodriguez, she screws over Rhea. Rhea gets injured a few weeks later, broken orbital bone. It didn't look good. WWE, they booked themselves into a sham. Oh, they had Io Sky win a women's battle royale to become the new #1 contender for the title because they didn't think Rhea was going to be back in time. That injury nixed plans to do a singles match between Raquel and Rhea at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. So now, if you're WWE, you're obviously going forward with the women's War Games match. Rhea's going to work. She's going to be just fine, right? They're going to take care of her. She's in her mask. Sure, she will not take a lot of bumps. She'll dish them out for sure, but they'll be safe. They'll be careful with her. I have no doubts about that. No concerns about that. And then as you go into Saturday night's main event on December 14th, I'm going to assume that's where you do her and Raquel, right? Maybe you do it on a Monday Night Raw episode while you also do Io Sky versus Liv Morgan, because technically Io Sky would be ahead of Rhea, even though Rhea actually beat Liv via DQ because they messed up the finish at Bad Blood, and Raquel, she didn't hit her at the exact time where the referee wasn't looking. And yeah, that was bad. But then you got to still do Liv and Rhea, and you got to finish things up. Now, I've held the standpoint that you have to have Rhea beat Liv and win the women's world title to finish this feud off, right? Liv got her revenge. She took Dirty Dom. She took the women's championship. She injured Rhea. But at the end of the day, since she's a heel, you got to have an ultimate pushover, blowover, whatever you want to call it, to end this feud. Liv, she's had her moments. She's had her wins, right? But it's time we move on. When you do the match, that's another discussion. That's another topic for discussion. But what they've been able to do with Rhea this year, being able to capitalize off of 2023, where she wins the Women's Royal Rumble, where she beat Charlotte for the Women's Championship at WrestleMania 39. A lot of W's in there, hard for me to say. It's impressive. Hats off to WWE. Hats off to Triple H for his booking. Hats off to Rhea Ripley for her hard work and dedication to her craft. Just masterful all the way around.